As you may know, if you've been paying attention to the news for the last few days, votes are still being counted in the 2020 presidential election, and Joe Biden's lead over Donald Trump has now actually surpassed 5 million votes. And this is, I think, a really good time to add some context to these numbers because depending on what historical context you prefer to add, the sort of takeaways from Joe Biden's current popular vote win would be pretty dramatically different. So with Joe Biden at close to 77 million votes and Donald Trump at close to 72 million votes, the exact lead for Joe Biden as of moments ago was about 5.07 million votes. In other words, 5 million plus 70,000 votes. And when you look back at the history of presidential elections, this is not even close to the largest winning margin if you're looking at some of the historical landslides. For example, if you look at Richard Nixon's historic 17 million vote margin in 1972, if you look at Ronald Reagan's in 84 by 16 million votes, LBJ and FDR won by 15 and 11 million votes, respectively. Even Barack Obama won by more than 9 million votes in 2008. But needless to say, this is a healthy margin for Joe Biden. And all of the huge wins that I mentioned just now came with far larger electoral victories as well. And that's something not to be ignored. Now, a really interesting fact is that among the largest popular vote losses among candidates who won, in other words, popular vote lost, won the presidency electorally. Donald Trump's popular vote loss in 2016, which was, as you remember, by about 3 million votes to Hillary Clinton, is the largest popular vote loss in history for a candidate who won the Electoral College. And it's followed by George W. Bush losing the popular vote by about 500,000 in the year 2000 to Al Gore and still winning electorally, as you remember, Florida, the decider in that particular election. For me, the most interesting perspective on the numbers so far is that Joe Biden has 50.8% of the vote right now. And when you look at challengers, which accounts for the power of incumbency, remember, removing an incumbent president is really difficult, even an unpopular one. 2004 and George W. Bush's reelection is a strong reminder of that. Among presidential challengers to an incumbent, Joe Biden's 50.8%, which may still go up, is the highest vote share for a challenger to an incumbent president dating all the way back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1932, who got 57% of the vote as the challenger in 32. And in fact, it's higher at 50.8. Joe Biden's share of the vote is higher even than Ronald Reagan's, which was 50.7 in 1980. So needless to say, it's a very healthy win, popular vote. And yet it came down to a combined razor thin margin of, we're waiting on the Georgia results. But as of right now, we're talking about 70,000 votes in Nevada and Pennsylvania, or you could put it a different way and say Joe Biden won thanks to 60,000 votes in Pennsylvania and Arizona, depending on what you consider the winning states for Joe Biden. So what can we say more generally? We can say that Donald Trump's two elections taken together are remarkable. Trump lost the popular vote twice, is one of only 10 incumbents to lose re-election, and one of only 3 presidents to be impeached. And if you sort of make a Venn diagram of this, which people have done and have shared on social media, if you take this together, Donald Trump is the only president to lose the popular vote twice, be removed after one term, and be impeached. So that's quite a resume for him. Now, is there a bigger story than just trivia? There is, but it really depends on your perspective. So on the one hand, how did Joe Biden manage to almost lose the Electoral College in the middle of the worst president in the modern era's globally embarrassing handling of a 100-year pandemic? Joe Biden almost didn't win. That's not good. On the other hand, even with Republican voter suppression, Republican voter purges, Trump's election disinformation, attempted sabotage of the Postal Service, even with all of that, Joe Biden still won by more than 5 million votes. and may end up with the exact number of electoral votes, 306, as Donald Trump had in 2016, depending on what ultimately happens in Georgia. My view is both of these things are true. We have to be able, what right wing pseudo intellectual said reality, the world is messy or something like that. We can hold both ideas at the same time. We have to take the wins where we got them, which is that Joe Biden won, period. And we have to now improve going forward. We have to pour everything we have into the 2 Senate runoff races in Georgia, which we will be talking about quite a bit tomorrow, and realize that it was close when it came down to not the 5 million votes, but the under 100,000 votes that the winning states ended up depending on. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Pakman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. It takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft. And it's free. There's no catch whatsoever. But if you want, Privacy also offers a $10 a month plan that gives you 1% cash back and lets you create 36 credit cards a month, and a $25 a month plan tailored more for small businesses where you can create 60 card numbers a month and much more. But definitely go ahead and at least get started with the free plan. You'll protect your financial info. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pakman.